Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Ayotunde Balogun. Hello and welcome tonight. President Tinubu meets service chiefs and senior defense officials on rising security threats as Defense Minister Christopher Musa asked Nigerians to remain hopeful, assuring decisive steps to strengthen national security. The Nigeria Police officially retires former Inspector General Kayode Egbetokun, marking the conclusion of his service, and colleagues and officials bid him farewell. The House of Representatives raises alarm over Boko Haram attacks in Hong local government of Adamawa, urging the federal government to establish army command to protect affected communities. And Israel's military says it has launched a new wave of strikes on Tehran and other Iranian targets, hours after Iran's new supreme leader's statement aired on state television amid widening conflict.
On business, Central Bank Governor Olayemi Cardoso says Nigeria's financial system is now more stable and resilient amid reduced intervention by the CBN.
On sports news tonight, Nigeria's D Tigers suffer first defeat since 2024, losing to South Korea at the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup qualifiers in Lyon, France.
From Abuja, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike says his administration will provide critical infrastructure to drive rapid development in the newly created Waru Pozema district in Abuja.
President Bola Tinubu has held a high-level meeting with service chiefs and senior defense officials to address Nigeria's security challenges. The closed-door session at the presidential villa lasted for over 2 hours. Now, following the meeting, Minister of Defense General Christopher Musa explained that the briefing was aimed at providing the president with a comprehensive update on the current situation across the country. He noted that President Tinubu reaffirmed his commitment to supporting the armed forces.
The meeting actually is just for us to review the events. We came in here for the services to brief Mr. President on the current situation on ground. You know that there have been a series of attacks, and the security forces have actually rose to the occasion. We came here to brief him for him to have a better understanding of what's going on. We know sometimes the interpretation, especially through the media, has not been too direct. We feel we should put the record straight, which we have done, and we're glad that Mr. President has continued to support the armed forces and other security agencies in the fight against insurgency. And our appeal to Nigerians is not to get tired, not to be discouraged, because sometimes when you hear those news, you think it is just what is happening, but it is not. It's far from that. The terrorists, the bandits are taking more casualties. Their commanders are being killed. We have lost a number of very, very courageous officers and men, highly regrettable, but we want to assure Nigerians is the commitment we are putting on ground to ensure that Nigeria is safe and secured. New things, the President has promised more equipment for us to be able to protect the war, and we are sure of victory. It's usual with the terrorists during the Ramadan period. For them, they feel when they die, they are going to heaven. So they are ready to commit any offense or to get killed because they feel they have reward to do. But like I said, we have adjusted our strategies. You can see in the past few days, we've taken over those locations. We've killed their commanders. We've taken over their assets. We'll continue to do more. And I assure you, Mr. President has approved so many things that are coming on our line, and we're working together as a team. You can see all members of the security forces are here to assure Nigerians and to assure Mr. President that we're on track and will succeed.
To the National Assembly now, where the House of Representatives is raising an alarm over a wave of attacks by suspected Boko Haram insurgents in various communities within Hong local government area of Adamawa State. According to Representative James Baraka, who raised the matter as a motion of urgent national importance, the attacks escalated significantly since December 2025, leaving a trail of devastation and suffering. The House is now asking the federal government to take urgent action to safeguard the affected communities by establishing a permanent army command in the area.
These killings displaced almost 4 villages. These 4 villages were burnt down completely, razed down. This happened consecutively on 26th, 27th, and 29th. And of recent, that's in December, and of recent, just last 2 weeks, on the 21st precisely, another one happened. 3 army personnel were killed. Over 21 people were killed as well from those communities. Mr. Speaker, these things has been happening in this place often. This is not the first time. And I think the government have to be very proactive. And so, Mr. Speaker, I want to bring this to the notice of the government, to direct the federal government to urgently take action to safeguard the affected communities by establishing a permanent army command in the area to deter foul attacks and ensure security.
Staying with the National Assembly, and the wave of decamping continues to sweep several politicians in the federal legislature. This time, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has announced a fresh round of defections as 9 senators move to the African Democratic Congress, ADC. However, he flagged the defection of Senator Inaya Abaribe from Abia South as procedurally faulty, saying he could lose his seat if he does not reconsider his resignation from the All Progressive Grand Alliance, ABGA. Lawmakers raised concerns regarding the defection of Senator Abaribe from ABGA, arguing while referencing relevant sections of the Constitution that the party currently has no subsisting internal crisis. Our National Assembly correspondent, Gloria Umezuke, reports.
The votes and proceedings were on.
A fresh gale of defections swept through the upper chamber as lawmakers resume on the 3rd day of plenary.
In respect of section.
Barely 24 hours after announcing 3 defections to the APC, the President of the Senate reads various correspondences from 10 minority lawmakers, 9 of which have switched alliances to the ADC.
Oh, PDP is gone. Letter of defection from the People's Democratic Party, PDP to the African Democratic Congress.
A total number of 9 senators defect to the ADC and 1 member to the NDC. However, the matter takes a twist as the Senate President raises questions on defection procedure. Senator Inaya Abaribe's defection was immediately flagged.
I am not aware of divisions within his political party, ABGA. Even Senator Victor Ume knows that there is no division within the party.
Pick the letters and check. If there is any of them that there is no division in their political party, in line with the Constitution, I think they ought to lose their seats.
We are not many. Allow us to be. We are not many. We are not many.
His comments triggered a heated debate, accusations and counter-accusations over the constitutional implication of his action.
And I've looked at this section.
Senator Abaribe is, however, given a chance to defend himself, but the lawmakers are clearly dissatisfied with his claims.
I haven't been sacked from my party since September of 2025. What he says very clearly, that provided there is a division, but there is nothing that says if you have been sacked.
We don't have evidence of that sack. So we will give you until our next sitting to reconsider or take a decision.
The latest defections sharply raises the number of ADC lawmakers to 9, positioning the party as the main opposition in the upper chamber.
Done, constructed.
Earlier, the Senate, in a matter of urgent national importance, called on the federal government to establish a military base in Kwande, Benue State, following the increasing wave of attacks.
And the solutions do not lie completely with our armed forces. This is a challenge, first, to us political leaders.
The Senate has also confirmed the nomination of Rear Admiral Jamila Abubakar Sadiq, retired, for the Northeast appointment as National Electoral Commissioner for INEC. The Senate has also promised to adjourn temporarily to reconvene after the Easter break to pass the 2026 appropriation bill. From the National Assembly, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
To the courts now, where a federal high court sitting in Akure, the Ondo state capital, has restrained Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa from seeking another term in office. Justice Toyin Adegoke, who presided over the suit in a judgment delivered today, held that the 1999 Constitution, as amended, does not provide for a situation whereby an elected president, vice president, governor or deputy governor would spend more than 8 years in office. A member of the APC in the state, Dr. Akin Egbualo, filed a suit against Governor Aiyedatiwa, his deputy, Dr. Olaide Adelami, and the ruling party over the eligibility of the governor to contest for another term in office. The plaintiff, through his legal counsel, Chief Adeni Akitola, a senior advocate of Nigeria, sought an interpretation of Section 137(3) of the 1999 Constitution based on the qualification of Governor Aiyedatiwa to contest for a second term. Justice Adegoke held that only the processes of the plaintiff, first defendant and second defendant will be considered, as the processes filed by the third to fifth defendants were deemed abandoned, having failed to participate during the hearing of the suit. Meanwhile, Governor Aiyedatiwa has been reacting to the Federal High Court judgment in Ondo State, refraining him from seeking re-election. While speaking exclusively on our political program Politics Today, the governor explains that he is yet to meet with his lawyers to determine the next line of action.
The judgment that was ruled out today by the judge at the Federal High Court in Akure is a judgment of the court. I have not seen it. I heard about it. The details has not been given. We will look at the details, and then my lawyers, my counsel, they will look at it. If there's room for seeking further interpretation, they will advise. I don't know for now. I cannot say yes, I cannot say no. I've just been sworn in about a year ago. So I have not presented myself for any election. I have not, fill any form for election. I have not campaigned. I have not shown. There's no timetable. There's nothing. So that particular scenario doesn't even occur at all. So it's not a thought in my mind. All I was facing is just to govern. So all of these court cases, they are just distractions that are not necessary.
The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Pate, says the solarization of 371 primary healthcare centers across 17 states and the Federal Capital Territory will strengthen healthcare delivery, particularly in underserved communities. Speaking at the handover ceremony of the solar system supported by Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance and UNICEF at the Apple Primary Health Care Center in Abuja, the minister explained the initiative will ensure reliable power supply for vaccine cold chains, improve working conditions for health workers, and support digital connectivity for health data. He noted that the intervention aligns with President Bola Tinubu's health sector reform agenda under the Renewed Hope initiative aimed at improving access to quality health care for Nigerians.
In a bid to strengthen vaccine storage and essential health services, the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Pate, flanked by the Executive Director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Muyi Aina, and other development partners, are here to witness the official handover of 371 solar-powered systems to the federal government. The intervention seeks to improve primary healthcare centers nationwide by providing reliable power and routine immunization services, particularly in remote communities where access to electricity remains a challenge.
This is a manifestation of how the Alliance and its own constituents have converged to build in country partnership, the country governments. So it's a good example of how the Alliance works at the country level where it matters. I know that Nigerians would be very pleased as they see the President delivering on his promises. This is a promise kept. And we will continue to double down in that direction since more than 4,000 primary healthcare centers have already been revitalized.
Lending his voice to the initiative, the executive director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency says the intervention targets areas with high numbers of zero-dose children who have missed routine vaccinations, expressing his appreciation to Gavi and UNICEF for the continued partnership.
Through this specific collaboration with Gavi and UNICEF that brings us here today, 371 primary health centers across 17 states, 16 states and the FCT have been solarized, meaning they now have solar power, which we targeted zero-dose locations, which is those locations that have been historically underserved, where we have a lot of children that have been missed for vaccination. But when you look, those are also the same areas where we have many pregnant women not reaching basic services.
And the benefit of all Nigerians. God bless. Thank you.
With Nigeria continuing efforts to improve routine immunization coverage, this donation is considered critical to ensuring vaccines are safely stored and effectively delivered to communities that need them the most. From Abuja, Victoria Longjohn, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, the Nigeria Police officially retires former Inspector General Kayode Egbetokun, marking the conclusion of his service. Colleagues and officials bid him farewell. Please stay with us.
Oh, you feel that?
Feel what?
The crash zone.
Crash what?
The crash zone. It builds suspense, uncovers evidence, foreshadows danger. You feel it now?
Oh, yeah.
I guess I'll go and try and find a ladder.
Good morning, team. One moment, topping up data. As I was saying, so we have the two deliverables.
I don't settle for less, nothing less than correct. Everything must connect.
Okay, back to the presentation.
Running. That's how I run it. Running. That's how I run it.
TerraCube, unwrap joy, unleash taste.
Oh, you feel that?
Feel what?
The crash zone.
Crash what?
The crash zone. It builds suspense, uncovers evidence, foreshadows danger. You feel it now?
Oh, yeah.
I guess I'll go and try and find a ladder.
My baba, they always say, for market, every day gets your own wahala. Sometimes people go want scam you. But Baba say, no be by gra. You must cool down, dey sharp. Because with OPay payment, your money go enter sharp, no story. But inside market, anything fit happen. One day, we no see phone again. My baba remember OPay USSD lock, that's a 955*131 hash. Baba press and lock account. From market woman to driver, from small boy to big man. Now OPay, they protect people like us. My baba fit sell, press phone, collect POS, and still they teach me price. And when they don't tire, go just tap OPay night guard. We no fear for this our hustle life. Now OPay be the people payment shield.
Welcome back. If you have just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. President Tinubu meets service chiefs and senior defense officials on rising security threats as Defense Minister Christopher Musa asked Nigerians to remain hopeful, assuring decisive steps to strengthen national security. House of Representatives raises alarm over Boko Haram attacks in Hong local government Adamawa state, urging federal government to establish army command to protect affected communities. Nigeria Police officially retires former Inspector General Kayode Egbetokun, marking the conclusion of his service, and colleagues and officials bid him farewell. And Israel's military says it has launched a new wave of strikes on Tehran and other Iranian targets, hours after Iran's new supreme leader's statement aired on state television amid widening conflict. It's the end of an era in the Nigeria Police. Former Inspector General Mr. Kayode Egbetokun says sustaining professionalism, continuous training and strong institutional reforms remain critical to strengthening law enforcement and enhancing public confidence in the Nigeria Police. Mr. Egbetokun made the remark at a ceremony organized in his honor to mark the end of his tenure as the nation's police chief, where he reflected on the challenges and achievements of his time in office. Our correspondent Benny Ark reports.
It was a moment of honor and reflection as the outgoing Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kayode Egbetokun, took his final salute at the ceremonial pull-out parade, marking the end of his 36 years career in the Nigerian police force. The event brought together top security officials, retired police chiefs, members of the force management team, Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, as well as family and friends, all led by the new Inspector General of Police, Mr. Olatunji Disu, to honor Mr. Egbetokun in a traditional Nigerian police pulling out parade. In the Nigerian police style, the former IGP inspects the parade mounted in his honor.
Guests, officers whose distinguished career in the Nigerian police force span decades.
Then followed the march past.
By a woman police.
In his farewell address, the outgoing police boss said his administration prioritized professionalism, merit-based advancement, and intelligence-led policing.
Our administration pursued reforms aimed at reinforcing professionalism, promoting merit-based advancement, strengthening intelligence-led policing, and expanding the operational capabilities of the Nigerian police force.
He also highlighted some key reforms, including the expansion of the Police Intelligence Bureau into a full department.
Investigative and operational capacity was further strengthened through improvements to the National Criminal Database and the professional training of operators across commands up to the divisional levels.
Given the closing remarks, the incumbent IGP, Mr. Olatunji Disu, extolled the milestone of his predecessor and pledged his dedication to service.
On behalf of the officers and men of the Nigerian Police Force, I express our profound appreciation to IGP Olukayode Egbetokun for his outstanding service, exemplary leadership, and invaluable contribution to the development of policing in Nigeria.
Then came the pulling out exercise.
We all appreciate him has been full of service. Put your hands together for the outcome.
Mr. Egbetokun was appointed the 22nd Inspector General of Police on June 19, 2023, after serving as the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of the 1st Criminal Investigation Department. Benny Ark, Channels Television News.
The transformation of the African continent begins right in the classroom, and there's a need to intentionally prepare the future through foundational learning for Nigerian children. This is the view of Pastor Mrs. Folu Adeboye, the visionary of Africa Missions Global's foundational learning intervention. At the closing ceremony of the pilot phase of the intervention project in Lagos, Pastor Folu Adeboye, who has an audacious goal to impact 100 million lives with education, also called for support to expand this intervention not only across Lagos State, but across the country and across the continent.
It's a gathering comprising representatives of heads of schools, teachers, students, parents, concerned Lagos State government officials, as well as members of the Board of Trustees of the African Missions Global. The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, has identified that only 1 or 2 out of 10 school children can read and write. And at the beginning of the year 2025, the wife of the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, RCCG, and founder of African Missions Global, Pastor Folu Adeboye, set out to intervene in public primary schools in Lagos. This is the closing ceremony of the pilot phase of that intervention, and Pastor Mrs. Adeboye, who joined the ceremony virtually, speaks about the need for foundational learning, which she describes as the core of unlocking other knowledge needed to transform the continent.
Through our Horizon 2033 program, we have set an audacious goal to impact 100 million lives with education as the spearhead. We must intentionally prepare the future through strong and strategic intervention in primary school education. The transformation of our continent begins in the classroom.
The Lagos State government is pleased that the state was chosen for this important project and pledges to continue to provide the enabling environment and institutional support necessary.
This is not just an ambitious target. It is a transformative commitment to the future of our continent. It is a vision worthy of the full support of government and all critical stakeholders.
The Foundational Learning Intervention Program in its pilot phase began 10 months ago and has benefited 969 children drawn from 6 public primary schools in the Fakwano-Woro-Shoki area.
Perfidious, PER.
Some of the children showcased the impacts of the program with a spelling bee competition. The event also witnessed a teachers' competition as well as cultural presentation by the children. Awards were then presented to the excited winners.
I want to say thank you to African Mission Global for the support of my victory.
The vision of African Missions Global is really to reach and restore humanity, empower humanity.
With expansion plans for 2026, including summer coaching in 15 or more schools, African Missions Global is positioned to scale its transformative impact across Lagos and beyond. Shola Shoyele, Channels Television News.
Now let's head to the nation's capital, and Victoria Longjohn is standing by to give us the latest from our Abuja studios. Over to you, Victoria.
Many thanks, Ayo. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike says his administration will provide the necessary infrastructure to enable rapid development in the newly created Waru-Pozema district, which is along the Apple district in the nation's capital. Addressing journalists after inspecting some projects in the area, Mr. Wike said he will work with relevant agencies to ensure the development of the new district. The projects inspected include the ongoing construction of the Court of Appeal complex, 40 judges' quarters, and other road projects. And entrepreneurship and grassroots economic empowerment took center stage in Efurun Delta State as 80 small business owners received a major financial boost at the second edition of the Keston Pondi Business Grant. The privately funded initiative by engineer Keston Pondi, who is also the managing director of Tantita Security Services, which has gained prominence in the Niger Delta, disbursed a total of 800 million naira to 80 entrepreneurs drawn from different sectors of the economy and different states in Nigeria.
Business leaders, community stakeholders and beneficiaries dressed in blue and white gathered to witness the empowerment of 50 business owners with 500 million naira under the Pondi Business Grant. Chairman of the Grant Committee, Mr. Victor Iserike, highlights the vision behind the initiative and its goal of supporting emerging entrepreneurs.
Today's beneficiaries, for you, this grant is not the finish line, but it is only the starting point. We have called you to contribute to nation building. We have called you to contribute to creating job opportunity for others.
Each beneficiaries will receive 10 million naira and participate in a business training session with practical strategies for business sustainability.
Doing your own parts, first they tell you this is not what we agreed to do. So you have an invoice that describes the service or the product that you're going to deliver to the person.
The program also features a panel discussion where 4 alumni of the grant scheme share their experiences.
We also did painting and artwork to solve the ambience of the school became beautiful.
Delivering the keynote address, the sponsor of the scheme, Managing Director of Tantita Security Services, Mr. Keston Pondi, reiterates the importance of supporting small businesses as drivers of economic development and community prosperity.
Despite these challenges, Nigerian entrepreneurs remain remarkably resilient and innovative. It is this spirit that inspired the creation of the Keston Pondi Business Grant, an initiative designed to support hard-working entrepreneurs, strengthen small businesses, and contribute to sustainable economic growth within our communities.
He then makes the big announcement, causing emotions of joy and applause from the lucky budding entrepreneurs.
Each of the 50 beneficiaries of the second edition of the Keston Pondi Business Grants will receive the sum of 10 million naira.
Moved to support the cause, 3 other dignitaries donate 100 million naira each as grants to 30 more entrepreneurs, bringing the total to 800 million naira for 80 beneficiaries. One after the other, beneficiaries mount the podium to receive their checks.
I want to say thank you to Nigerians that are doubting that it's given to his family members. I am someone that has never heard of him and I'm a beneficiary.
Dignitaries present commend the initiative as the much-needed support for people of the Niger Delta region.
Government for the past years have been making effort to empower our youth with a view to strengthening job creation and wealth creation. What he has done now is keying into that effort of government because, like he acknowledged, government cannot do it alone.
The high point of the event is celebratory as guests rise to honor Mr. Keston Pondi with a surprise birthday cake.
Now, still ahead on the news at 10, Central Bank Governor Olayemi Cardoso says Nigeria's financial system is now more stable and resilient amid reduced interventions by the CBN. That's on Business News. We join us again. Welcome back and watching News at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television. To more company news now, agriculture is once again taking center stage in efforts to strengthen food production, create jobs and grow rural economies in Akwa Ibom State. Under the Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprises Project For the Niger Delta Life ND, more than 1,000 youth and women trained in agribusiness are now being empowered to establish their own enterprises in the state.
The Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprises project for the Niger Delta Life ND is an agriculture initiative co-funded by the federal government and the Niger Delta Development Commission. In Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State government is flagging off the empowerment of second and third batch incubatees of the program. Over 1,000 youths, women and persons living with disabilities were trained across 3 batches between 2024 and 2026 in cassava, oil palm, poultry and aquaculture, considered strong value chain areas for the state and critical to food production and rural economic growth.
I encourage each of you to apply the knowledge and skills you acquire during your incubation period. Maintain close engagement with your incubators, who are your mentors, and remain committed to the principles of accountability and responsible enterprise management that Life ND Projects promotes.
The incubation model is described as innovative and sustainable and complements the state government's agricultural development efforts.
The Life ND project therefore complements the efforts of the state government in empowering rural communities and promoting agricultural entrepreneurship.
Meanwhile, the Akwa Ibom State Director of the NDDC, Efong, reaffirms the Commission's commitment to ensuring sustained funding for the project.
The IFAD partnership commenced a long while ago, but along the time there was some hitches along the line. But at the inception of this present administration of NDDC, ably led by Dr. Samuel Obuku, the commitment of NDDC to come back to this partnership and ensure that it continues, so that those states that are left out to benefit, it was actualized at this time.
The empowerment packages are designed to help beneficiaries start agri-businesses, generate income and create jobs.
It was settled in my mind that this program will continue like this in Akwa Ibom State.
Some beneficiaries and incubators say the training has equipped them with practical skills to run successful agri-business ventures.
I feel good because this business will encourage me to do enough business in our village.
The Life ND project has impacted so much in our different communities, and in my own community in particular. The incubators that were sent to us for training have done excellently well.
With over 1,000 trained agripreneurs empowered, the Life ND project is expected to boost agricultural productivity, create jobs, and strengthen rural enterprise development in Akwa Ibom State. The Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprises project also trained entrepreneurs in Imo State.
To more stories, Nigeria's youth have been urged to take responsibility for their health and future by abstaining from drugs and other vices in order to grow into responsible adults who can contribute to the socio-economic and political development of the country. Human Resources Manager of the Intercontinental Distillers Limited, Bettina Bambose, made the call at the maiden edition of the Intercontinental Distillers Limited Amazon's interactive session with students of Igomode Grammar School, Ota in Ogun State, as part of the 2026 International Women's Day celebration.
Students of Igomode Grammar School, Ota, alongside members of staff, attend the maiden sensitization program against drug abuse, organized by the Amazons of Intercontinental Distillers Limited to mark International Women's Day. The perfect launch of a series against drug use, targeting more schools across Ogun State. The campaign is designed to redirect the attention of young people from the allure of drug abuse and the dangers of underage alcohol consumption.
When you talk to the younger ones, they think flex is about taking something to make you high. Flex is about being in a space that you are always high. Was saying to us this morning, real flex is not alcohol. Real flex is not drugs. Flex is focus. Focus on education. Focus on purpose. Focus on building your future.
A consultant physiatrist with the Ogun State Ministry of Health warns students about the harmful effects of drug and substance abuse, habits that could destroy their future prospects.
These substances that is taken into the system, it's carried about in the blood and affects to various organs in the body. Your liver will have to metabolize, your kidney will have to be excreting them. Exposing your organs to these various substances can damage them.
Participants say they now have a better understanding about drug abuse.
This program is a very good initiative and I've learned a lot. It's talking about focus.
Even right now, when I'm done, after school, I'm going to my Facebook channel, share it with others, TikTok channel, share it with others, enlighten others, and other students also.
They came to tell us about drug abuse and many things we don't know about. Our students asked questions about it. It was really amazing. I really learned a lot. I learned about how we can also flex and still focus on what we want to do.
The event ends with a strong call for students to serve as ambassadors of positive change in their communities, while the Amazons of Intercontinental Distillers Limited reaffirmed their commitment to supporting initiatives that promote youth development and empowerment.
And that's it from Abuja. It's now over to Dominic Iwiwu for Business News.
Thank you, Victoria. And on business news, a 14-year-old student, Oreoluwa Alayonde, has been named MTN Nigeria's Chief Executive Officer for 1 day after winning the 2025 MTN M-Pulse Spelling Bee competition. Oreoluwa, a student at St. Lawrence Metropolitan College in Ado-Ekiti, triumphed over 32,000 participants nationwide to claim the top prize, earning the unique opportunity to lead the telecommunications company for 1 day.
MTN Plaza in Falomo, Ikoyi, management and staff gathered to celebrate leadership, academic excellence, and the future of digital innovation. Following the MTN M-Pulse Spelling Bee, Oreoluwa Alayonde, a student from St. Lawrence Metropolitan College, Ado-Ekiti, stands out among over 32,000 students nationwide, emerging as the 2025 champion. Today, she steps into a remarkable role as MTN's Chief Executive Officer for 1 day.
Today, as we welcome our 1 day brand new spanking CEO. So, Oreoluwa, on behalf of your team here at MTN, I do wish you a very remarkable time as you steer the affairs of the greatest and most valuable company in Nigeria today.
Oreoluwa is the third female winner of the Spelling Bee from the competitions we've had so far. So I think it's very apt that within this week, within this period, Oreoluwa is our CEO for today. I'll urge you all to please cooperate with her, okay? Don't give her any problems today. Make sure that her day as CEO is smooth and seamless, and she has a wonderful experience with MTN Nigeria.
In her role as CEO, Oreoluwa delivers an inspiring address, urging students to prioritize education, embrace technology, and aspire to leadership roles.
Winning the MTN M-Pulse Spelling Bee has been one of the most exciting and life-changing moments of my life. As I share my voice during my time as MTN CEO for a day, I would love to advocate for more opportunities for girls in education, technology, and leadership development.
MTN Nigeria says the M-Pulse Spelling Bee, launched in 2018, equips students with the skills needed to thrive in today's digital world.
Is one of the initiatives that we have put together at MTN Nigeria, and it is focused on ensuring that we're able to provide a platform for our young ones, especially school students aged 9 to 15, to provide them with that opportunity
to express and develop their skills, their digital skills, their self-confidence, their understanding of how to compete healthily.
We've seen literally thousands of amazing young boys and girls, very talented, and so we want to make sure that they are open to receive opportunities for them to continue to learn. We can only unlock Nigeria's potential through education. So it's important that we provide that platform and digital solution to connect our young boys and girls to educational opportunities.
Life is good, but technology makes it better. During my course of training, I used the MPulse website not just to become a better speller, but even a better student at school.
As Oreoluwa looks forward to an insightful time as CEO, MTN emphasizes its commitment to education and youth empowerment, hoping her success inspires the next generation.
Central Bank Governor Olayemi Cardoso says Nigeria's financial system is now more stable and resilient with improved investors' confidence. He made this declaration at the St. Gregory's College in Lagos, where he delivered a lecture in celebration of the school's Founders' Day. Mr. Cardoso, who was the guest speaker at the event, explained that the current stability, not as a stroke of luck, but as the result of deliberate architectural shifts in monetary policy, as well as tackling excess system liquidity. Now, more than 650 billion naira is gained today by investors in the domestic stock market as it makes a rebound on the back of cherry picking from lower priced equities. Willie Bong tells us more.
Thank you, Dominic. Positive sentiments we saw at intraday were sustained at the close of the bell. Investors taking advantage of lower prices to bargain hunt, and this lifted the index up today. We saw that by over 0.5%, 0.5 to be precise, and there regaining 196,000 level, and also the market cap also in the 126 trillion naira mark. We got the biggest mover today. Boa Cement took the lead, adding over 12 naira to his share price to close at 247 naira 30 kobo. But we saw a mixed sectoral performance. Banking and oil and gas were down today, except for consumer goods. That's the outlier, up 0.25%. And we know Boa Foods contributed to that. And we've seen 2026 gains in global bonds wiped out as a result of the Middle East tensions. The question is, can equities continue to hold up when companies are faced with rising cost of inputs as the Strait of Hormuz, the key passage for commodities, remains shut? And that's the stock market report. Will Ibang signing out.
Thank you, Will. Meanwhile, only 2 African stock markets ended in the green today as other major global markets take a hit from the impact of higher oil prices amid the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. Here are some of the closing numbers. And that's it on Business News. Back to Ayotunde for the rest of the news at 10.
Many thanks, Dominic. Israel's military says it has launched a new wave of strikes on Tehran and other Iranian targets. This comes hours after Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, vowed to keep blocking the Strait of Hormuz. Here's Simon Pusey with more on this and other international news and around the world in 5 from our London studio.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5.
Martyrs, the leaders, including my father,
Iran's new supreme leader has vowed to keep blocking the Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping channel, in a statement read by a presenter on state TV. Mujtaba Khamenei, who has not been seen in public since succeeding his father, also says Iran will avenge the blood of Iranians who have been killed. More cargo ships have been attacked in the Gulf, apparently by Iran. 2 tankers were hit near Iraq, while a container ship was struck near the UAE. Iranian state media say Iranian forces were behind at least one strike. Oil prices have risen, reaching $100 a barrel at one point. The price rise comes despite 32 countries agreeing on Wednesday to release 400 million barrels of oil reserves in an effort to calm markets. Meanwhile, Democrats in the U.S. Senate have written to the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth demanding answers about the strike on a primary school in Iran that Iranian officials say killed 168 people, including around 110 children. U.S. media have reported that U.S. military investigators believe American forces were likely responsible for hitting the school unintentionally at the start of the joint operation, but that they have not reached a final conclusion. The Pentagon said it would respond directly to the authors of the letter, as with all congressional correspondence. 19 people have been jailed over an attack at a concert hall near Moscow that killed 149 people and left more than 500 injured, the deadliest mass shooting in Russia in 2 decades. A Russian military court handed life sentences to 4 gunmen and 11 accomplices. 4 other defendants were given between 19 and 22 years. Gunmen opened fire at the Crocus City concert hall on the outskirts of Russia's capital on the 22nd of March 2024 and set fire to the venue. An Islamic State group affiliate admitted it carried out the attack and posted video evidence. Moscow has repeatedly alleged Ukrainian involvement, which Kyiv has strenuously denied. China has approved a sweeping new law which claims to help promote ethnic unity, but critics say it will further erode the rights of minority groups. On paper, it aims to promote integration among the 56 officially recognized ethnic groups dominated by the Han Chinese through education and housing, but critics say it cuts people off from their language and culture. It mandates that all children should be taught Mandarin before kindergarten and up until the end of high school. Previously, students could study most of the curriculum in their native language, such as Tibetan, Uyghur or Mongolian. The law was approved on Thursday as the annual rubber stamp parliamentary session drew to an end. At least 102 people have been killed in floods and landslides triggered by heavy rains in the Gamo zone of southern Ethiopia. The official death toll, initially put at just over 30, has steadily risen in the past 24 hours. Earlier on Thursday, a senior politician said 64 had died. Dozens are still missing. Most of the casualties were in highland areas where saturated slopes gave way after days of intense rain. Torrential rains have unleashed widespread flooding across East Africa in recent days. Dozens have also died in neighbouring Kenya. Forecasters say storms are becoming more intense in the region, partly due to climate change. A Chinese national has been arrested in Kenya's main airport, accused of attempting to smuggle more than 2,000 Queen Garden ants out of the country. Jiang Ke-chun was intercepted during a security check at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in the capital Nairobi, after authorities discovered a large consignment of live ants in his luggage bound for China. He has yet to respond to the accusation, but investigators said in court that he was linked to an ant trafficking network that was broken up in Kenya last year. The ants are protected by international biodiversity treaties and their trade is highly regulated. And a red fox that sneaked onto a cargo ship off the coast of Southampton has successfully made it thousands of miles across the Atlantic and is now in the care of the Bronx Zoo in New York. The zoo said a 2-year-old male weighing roughly 5 kilograms is currently in the Animal Health Center with animal and veterinary teams. The zoo said initial examinations suggested the fox appeared to be in good health and that additional results from a separate routine health screening were pending. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Afro-Basket Women's Champions Nigeria's D Tigers lost to South Korea 60-77 in their second game at the ongoing FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup qualifiers in Lyon, France. The Rena Wakama-led ladies were outclassed by the Koreans in the first quarters 20-16. The second quarter was tied 16-16. The Koreans dominated the third and fourth quarters 22-19 and 19-9. The defeat was the Tigers' first since losing to the U.S. in the quarterfinal of the women's basketball event at the 2024 Olympics. The girls will return to the court on Saturday when they face the Philippines in their third group game. And Shooting Stars of Ibadan beat league leaders Rivers United 2-1 in a rescheduled Nigeria Premier Football League play this evening at the Lagos Salami Stadium. Ayodele Ismail opened the scoring for the Oluyole Warriors in the 33rd minute. Rivers United fought back and were rewarded in the 69th minute when Wasiu Falulu equalized. Kamal Adegoke got the winner in stoppage time. With this win, Shooting Stars climbed to 6th place on the log after 29 matches, while Rivers United remained top on 52 points with a game in hand. U.S. President Donald Trump has warned Iran's football team their life and safety would be at risk if they took part in the upcoming World Cup in North America. Trump's comment came just 2 days after he told FIFA chief Gianni Infantino the Iranian players would be welcome despite the Middle East war. Iran's Minister of Sports and Youth, Ahmad Donyamali, had on Wednesday said his country, who are due to face New Zealand and Belgium and Egypt in Group G, were not in a position to participate in the tournament, which is being held in the United States, Canada, and Mexico from June the 11th. And that sports is back to you, Aya.
And the main news again. President Bola Tinubu has met with service chiefs and senior defense officials on rising security threats as Defense Minister Christopher Musa asked Nigerians to remain hopeful, assuring decisive steps to strengthen national security. And the House of Representatives has raised an alarm over Boko Haram attacks in Hong local government of Adamawa State and has urged the federal government to establish an army command to protect affected communities. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Do have a good night.